We are now live. Yay! So I have no idea whether we are actually going to get people watching us or not, because I feel like I ended one thing and started another one by accident. Technology. Let's introduce ourselves. Loretta. People know me. My name's there. Somewhere. I'm Ebonie Allard, and I am the founder of the Misfit, Maven Way, and we are chatting today about M2M, the foundations, and also M2M360. And thank you, by the way, for coming and having this chat with me.
You're welcome.
What is M2M to you? If you wanted to describe M2M, the community or the course or the program to one of your friends, what would you describe it as, or how would you describe it?
Well, I'll describe it as a way to really look at and hone in on areas of your life that you'd never really thought about before.
Yeah.
Through a structured process with loads of support and guidance, and like I think Maury said on Tuesday, it's a safe place to kind of share your doubts, fears, celebrations, and aha moments, and yeah, that's what I call it, and it's massive benefits like across all areas of your life, not just in business. It's been, for me, it's like deeply changed different things about my life that I never thought I'd achieve so quickly, basically.
Oh, thanks. So tell me what was going on before you decided to join?
I had gone through a very difficult couple of years, personally, with the loss of my father. I was in a job that, although I really enjoyed it, it was causing me a lot of stress. And then immediately before I started, I was offered the chance of redundancy from that job, which I jumped at, basically. And so I kind of got involved with you just at the end of the whole redundancy process, when I decided that going to another corporate job wasn't what I wanted. So yeah.
And then, so how has joining M2M, going through the Misfit to Maven Way, the foundations, and being part of the community, how has it changed stuff? Where are you now?
Well, now I am, so it basically helped me really focus on what I wanted, and I think that's the most important thing for me. Is there could have been loads of different ways and things that I could have done with my life going forwards. I could have gone for another job. I could have, tried something completely different. And for me, it was, what I wanted to do was a similar thing, but be in control of it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see how to make money from it, really. And the people out there doing similar things weren't really doing it in the way I wanted to do it. So for me, it kind of gave me that focus. And where I am now is I've got a business that is now starting to bring an income, which has taken a few months because I've had a few other things going on. And so I'm in a position where I've got some things I can really see how I'm going to develop it and grow it in the future. And the other thing I had going on, which I don't mind sharing, is I was going through some fertility issues, and I think about a month after we started working together, I was told I needed to have IVF in order to get pregnant. And me being me, I was protecting myself from the whole process, and it's just a test and we'll see what happens. And I think through the program, I really actually started to go for it and commit to it, and as a result I'm now 7 and a bit months pregnant. So yeah, it's been a massively changing few months, really, for me, but I can't imagine me being anywhere else than where I am right now, and it's all worked out really for the best.
Thanks.
Don't get emotional.
You're telling me not to get emotional. It makes me really emotional. It makes me so happy, because when we first met, you were so matter of fact about it. Like, it might happen, it might not, it's probably my last chance, and really there was a lot of numbing of your feelings around what would happen, what could happen, what might happen. And I love how open and more vulnerable and stronger at the same time that you've become and I feel like that's part of this process, right? It's being more comfortable with just who you are and your reality, and being able to look at all the different parts of you and and see it as a whole, right? And not just be like, oh, well, this is my work life and this is my home life, and
Yeah, you can't split it up. In my corporate life, I always felt like there's a little bit I was holding back, and then in my home life, it was like I can't really talk about what I do as a job because I'm a little bit embarrassed by it. I'm a little bit embarrassed by, the money I make and the things I do and the industry I work in. And now I'm just like, do you know what? I love all of it, and I'm still in the same industry, but I'm just doing it in a different way, and I love all of it. So yeah, I'm not afraid to shout about it anymore.
And I think that's one of those shifts that people don't think could happen for them, right? And one of the things that I feel like it's really important to make clear with the M2M process is that it's not, and maybe you can tell me whether or not this is true, but it's not, there's no pushing, there's no like trying to be anyone you're not, there's no like forcing or pretending or any of those things. And yet somehow through a series of the combination of the work that I get you to do and the community and the group and the safe space, all of that stuff, one day, normally just over 3 months in, people are like, oh, all this stuff's changed. Was that your experience?
Yeah, it was exactly that. It was doing the pillars and the work and the things that, you sit there and you think, I'm going to write a plan, but then as an engineer in me, I'll just be like, right, the plan is blah, 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 blah. What's the output? And very, very sort of systematic and focused. And this was like, actually, what do you really want? What are your aspirations? And it was like, you kind of forced people to think about what their life's going to be like. How does this fit into your life? Not just a little bit of the business and the money. And we do all of that, but it's just so much bigger that you kind of, every time you make a decision or you're thinking something, you're thinking, how does this fit into the stuff I really want out of life? And I think that's what's important. And it's enabled me to sort of not be focused on being successful straight away, because that would have certainly driven me down a path that I'm not on now, and would have probably limited me in the long term. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. It's yeah. Simple, really.
And you said to me the other day, because I was saying, there's no quick fix, there's no silver bullet. I was writing a post about that, and you wrote on there, yeah, but it's happened so much quicker than I thought it would.
Yeah. I remember one conversation we had where I was saying, sometimes I'm like this person I don't really like. I'm a bit controlling and a bit like this. And I was looking sort of what therapy do I need? And you just said to me, just don't be like that. It's within you. Just don't be like that. You don't need to go through tons of therapy. And I just thought, you know what? That's true. I'm not going to be like that anymore. And I'm working on it. It's not the most easiest thing in the world because you slip into the patterns, but every time I reflect and I go, oh, do you know what? I've become that person again. And I go, no, I'm not going to be that person. And I try and replace it with other things, behaviours that I like. So rather than just go off on one, I just try and talk to the person and say, I'm really sorry I'm trying to control you, but this is why I feel the need to. And it's more like that rather than trying to sort of always be all het up and defensive, which is how I felt I needed to be before, really. So yeah.
So one of the promises that I make for people coming in to either M2M the Foundations or to 360 is that as a result of doing this work, either doing it alone at their own pace or coming and doing it with us within the community space and getting that support from me, is that as a result of it, they'll end up more confident, more courageous, calmer, and with a ton more clarity about what they actually want, who they actually are, and how they fit into the world. How would you say I deliver on, or this work delivers on those promises?
Well, I actually wrote down earlier, unprompted by you, 100%, what I felt like it's given me. So the first thing I wrote was be clear what I want, clarity. It's made me braver, and it's made me take ownership and be accountable for my own stuff. And the stuff that happens in my life, it's not necessarily other people's fault. It might be caused by other people, but how I deal with it is down to me. And that's the other thing that's made me kinder to myself and to others. And within my life, I feel a lot more freedom than I felt before. So yeah, that's what I wrote down. So I think you've pretty ticked all those boxes, to be honest.
Thanks. So the last thing that I was going to ask, and then I'm just going to ask you whether there's anything I've missed or anything else you wanted to add, is it how? So, from an engineering perspective, as from someone who has the capacity to be very linear in their approach, has this program and this work? How's it done in terms of getting the return on investment, or being worth the money, or any of that? What would you think about it from that perspective?
It's absolutely, for me, it's like the most logical thing to do now and to keep doing. There is if the engineering me, there is a process. There's 8 pillars. There's the little cornerstones of pin, and going through all that is, for me, very logical. The approach is logical. Obviously, what happens is sometimes completely like not business related. It's spiritual, but the process is logical. And in terms of the return on investment, it's like there's in engineering, there's continuous improvement and Kaizen and all these things. And that's really what the whole thing does, is that each time you do it, a bit of your life, a bit of what you're doing improves, and you look at it as continuous improvement. And that's, as for any engineers out there or technical people, that's what I'd say is it's literally like doing that, but for yourself. So if people write books on it and they do it in industry, then why can't we do it for ourselves? Why do we feel like we have to just stay at the same place, and the only way to make changes to do massive things? Because it's not. It's literally like month by month, different things happen and different things click in your head, and it's that's how I think of it as an engineer anyway.
I think that's really important. One of the things we talk about quite a lot is the power of the incremental upgrade, because it's so easy for us to go, I want to, I'm here and I want to be here, and it has to happen instantly. And actually, things don't just work like that. That's why I say there's no pushing, there's no hustling or pretending to be anything you're not. It's a gradual process, and it's continual and gradual. So you turn around and go, I've come this far, and we build in those times for reflection. So there's a lot of opportunities to look at how far you have come and what has shifted and changed.
Yeah.
Am I nice to everybody?
No. So to be honest, like, some of the hardest, because I came out of an environment, a corporate environment, that could be quite, I don't know, blunt sometimes, and I had a boss that was quite blunt with me sometimes. I came out of that and I was doing stuff for myself. I kind of miss that in my life, and you recognise that. And I remember there's a few calls I've been on where I've just been like, I really was embracing the being part of me, and I was like, I'm just, being, I'm going for tea with my friends, and the business may or may not happen. And you were just so like, right, come on, you said you were going to do this, you haven't done anything, how are you going to do it? And that worked for me because you knew that's kind of what I needed. But you're not like that certainly not with everybody. You do call most people out on their repetitive patterns and things, but then that's what you need in a coach. There's no point in you just sitting there and cuddling us all, because that's not what we want. So yeah, you're not always nice to people. You sometimes swear at them, but you can take it. We can all take it, and we wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be here if we couldn't. So yeah.
The reason I want to share that is because it is a safe space, but it isn't a safe space where I'm going to mother you. Like, I really don't take care of people. It's very much about giving you guidelines and giving you structures in order to be self-responsible and to take responsibility for yourself. And at the same time, I'm not just a hard ass. Like, I'm actually very kind and loving as well.
You are though. Good. You've never made me cry through having a go at me. You've made me cry through being nice. It's that. And I think that's what you need. You need somebody that you're letting into all of parts of your life, which I think is what you do. You need to have that you call it the yin and yang, and the masculine and the feminine. You need to have that because that's what we all need. We're all taking part in this program because we need support, we need coaching. We're not doing it because we already think we're the best thing since sliced bread, or we wouldn't have we might have a coach, but people I find like that, they don't tend to embrace things like we do. And this is the community I love, is always learning from each other and sharing things and supporting each other. And sometimes it's something really practical, and sometimes it's something really emotional that we're all discussing. And that's where I think it's really good that you've created this community where we all go in and because we all work with you and we all on your calls, we all kind of know it's okay to be like that. So yeah, I love that part of it, and I feel like I've made some real friends from the process as well, from M2M360. Yeah.
Thank you. It's much easier to have you tell everyone how wonderful it is than it is for me to tell everyone, because I'm kind of biased, right? I think it's a great space, and personally, I think that people who aren't ready to make a monthly commitment and who just want to test it out, we split it out so people can come and do M2M the foundations, and work through. They get tons of videos from me and support and workbooks and bits and pieces. And then anytime you want to come and join 360, the way that works is you can come for 1 month, and you can just keep, it will continue, and you can quit and hand in your notice at any time. So there's no minimum contract. I just don't believe in forcing people to do things that they don't want to do. It just doesn't make sense to me. Is there anything else that we didn't cover, or that you wanted to share with people about either the pillars in the program or your experience generally, or the value filter or anything along those lines?
Oh, the value filter's probably it's the most grounded thing that I've got. And I was sat there today, and again, preparing for having this chat, I thought, I'm going to sit and work look at what my business is now and what it's going to become. And I managed to link everything back to that value filter. So I'm doing this because it fits squarely in that, and that work is brilliant, to be honest. And it's so simple, yet it's something I just sit and talk to mates and say my value filter is, and they go, oh really? And then they go, actually that's really useful. And so you can use it as a really strict thing where everything you do, you look at that value filter and you go, oh, it's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. But for me, it's kind of a natural thing. Like, I find now that I naturally go, oh, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, why doesn't it? And if it doesn't feel good and I don't know why, I look at that and go, right, okay, that's because actually it's not harmonious. It's a very conflicty situation, so that I don't feel comfortable, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, so it's really useful. And I think that first session, because we did, the one-to-one as a first session, that was just massive eye-opener. So much so that when I found out about M2M360, it was literally a no-brainer. I was like, sign up, done, And throughout everything in the last few months as well, with spending all my redundancy money quite rapidly, the one thing that I talked to my partner about and me was, oh, maybe I should cut down on 360. And he said, that's the one thing you don't not do. So that's the one thing you stay doing. So that was, and for my partner to say that was a massive endorsement of sort of the impact it's having on us. So yeah, so I'm not going anywhere. I'll be there with a baby on the call.
Yay! Oh, tell Chris thanks as well, by the way. Excellent endorsement. My favourite kind of endorsements, when other halves are like, please carry on doing this, whatever you're doing, it works. Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Thank you, Loretta. I will see you on a call really soon. I'm going to go because I have a client call. But I really appreciate you coming and sharing. And if anyone has any questions, just DM me. And if you are in the Misfit Mastermind Facebook group, then Loretta's in there. Nearly all of the community are in there, and all of them will be really happy to answer questions as well. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.